Welcome to Lisa or Lena's diary. Here you pick your favorite between Lisa and Lena while I share a bit of life with you. And today, it's complicated. You won't believe what happened. Someone took my diary. Yes, the one where I write absolutely everything. I was at home, turning my room upside down when I realized it was gone. Panic set in. You know that sinking feeling when your heart drops and time freezes for a second? That was me. It all started when I left my diary in class after history. I was rushing to lunch, and as usual, my mind was racing. I didn't even realize I had forgotten it until I got home. That's when the panic kicked in. Seriously, I imagined the worst. Did someone want to read my secrets? Find out I'm still crushing on last year's boy? Or, even worse, discover I wrote about that fight with Emily? Just thinking about it sent chills down my spine. The next day, I returned to school determined to find it. I asked all my friends, but no one had seen it. I even spoke to Anna, even though I didn't think she'd do something like that. She was just as worried as I was, and I realized she was as lost in this mystery as me. That's when my inner detective kicked in. I started watching the people around me, trying to figure out who could have taken it. Was it someone in my class? Or maybe someone picked it up by accident and forgot to return it. During recess, while I stood in a corner of the schoolyard, my mind was racing with all the possible suspects. Who could have taken my diary? What if they had already read everything? What if my secrets were now floating around the school? The schoolyard suddenly felt like a dangerous place, where every student seemed like they could be the thief. I tried to focus, observing the people around me for any suspicious behavior, but everything seemed normal. My heart was pounding, but I knew I had to keep calm. Suddenly, something caught my eye: Emily. She was sitting with her friends, laughing loudly, completely at ease. What really grabbed my attention, though, was the fact that she was holding something in her hands, a notebook. My heart almost stopped. Could it be my diary? I started walking toward her, slowly, trying not to draw attention to myself. Each step felt heavy, and their laughter echoed in my head like a sinister soundtrack. Could it really be her? Emily had enough reasons to want to read my secrets, especially after the time we spent trapped in the school basement together. Maybe she had found the diary and decided to use it against me. As I slowly got closer, trying to peek at the notebook without them noticing, my hands were sweaty, and I could almost hear my heart pounding in my chest. When I finally got a clear look at the notebook, it wasn't mine. Phew! Immediate relief. The nervous laugh that almost escaped was hard to control, and I quickly turned around before they noticed I was nearby. False alarm. But that only made my anxiety worse. If Emily didn't have my diary, then where could it be? I tried thinking of all the people who could have found it. Could someone from Emily's group have seen it and passed it to her? Or could it be that someone totally different had it now? Every minute felt like an eternity, and the feeling of desperation started to grow. I was pacing back and forth, not knowing where to look. I asked a few other classmates, but no one knew anything. It was like my diary had simply disappeared, and with it, all my secrets. I was almost ready to give up. The rest of the day was torture. I sat through each class trying to focus, but my mind kept returning to the same thought: my diary. I kept imagining who could be laughing at my expense, who could be reading my most personal words, and the idea that it might be spreading around terrified me. The worst part was the feeling of helplessness. I had no idea where to look, who to ask, or what to do next. All I could do was hope someone would find it and return it to me. By the end of the day, when I was almost certain I'd never see my diary again, something completely unexpected happened. I was walking down the halls, ready to head home, when I heard a familiar voice calling me. It was Mr. Jackson, the school janitor. He's a pretty serious guy, but he's always been nice to me. He was holding something in his hands, and my heart skipped a beat when I realized what it was. He looked at me with that serious but slightly amused expression and said, "This is yours, right?" And there it was, my diary, in his hands. I could barely speak, just nodding a stunned yes. Mr. Jackson explained that he found the diary near the basement stairs, the same basement where Emily and I got stuck the other day. My mind raced with questions. How did it end up there? Did someone take it and leave it there on purpose? Despite all the panic, holding my diary again was an enormous relief. It felt like I had recovered a part of myself that had been lost. I thanked Mr. Jackson multiple times, and he just gave a small smile before walking away. Now, heading home, I can't help but wonder if anyone actually read it. Everything seemed intact, but still, I can't shake the feeling that someone, somewhere, might have taken a peek at my most personal pages. Either way, I'm relieved to have my diary back, but I still have a nagging feeling. Who could have taken it? Was it just a misunderstanding, or did someone really want to mess with me? Maybe I'll never know. But one thing's for sure, I'm never leaving my diary lying around again. Oh, and if you were paying attention while deciding between Lisa or Lena, here's the question: who returned my diary to me? Let me know in the comments.